Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 6. Tonight, school strapping. A woman charged with assault after a student was hit with a belt.
We're talking about a weapon that is leaving welts and physical marks on a child.
Departure delays. Why some WestJet passengers are still grounded despite flights resuming.
A little upset that the only option that they gave us was one that we couldn't use.
And Heritage Fest hassles. Organizers say it was a success despite long lines and wet weather.
We certainly left our mark.
New month, same old story. More showers in the forecast for this evening and again late tomorrow night.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
A woman in northern Alberta has been charged with assault with a weapon against a child at a Mennonite school. She's accused of using a strap against the student. CTV's Evan Kenny joins us now with the details. So, Evan, what are police saying tonight?
Matt, RCMP say 37-year-old Eva Buchert has been charged with assault with a weapon. They say a student was hit with a belt from a piece of machinery.
We're talking about a weapon that is leaving welts and physical marks on a child. That is a criminal code offense, and that's the messaging here. And I think that that's something that people need to be aware of, is these are criminal acts.
RCMP say it happened at one of the private Mennonite schools in Lacrete, but would not say which one. RCMP say using the strap to discipline kids is included in the school district's collective constitution, something parents must read and sign. Under Section 43 of the Criminal Code of Canada, teachers can use a degree of physical force in schools, like pulling kids apart to break up a fight. One University of Alberta law professor says in this case, the force is beyond reasonable.
Using any type of what the court considers a weapon, anything other than your hands, is forbidden for teachers, period. That was decided by the Supreme Court. It's not in the law, but it's the common law interpreting what is reasonable.
He says this could be a precedent-setting case because of the contract signed between the parents and the school, as well as the religious setting. We reached out to the school district. It had no comment on the situation. Buchert will appear in court in Fort Vermilion next week. Matt?
All right, Evan Kenny, thank you. Despite the wet and windy weather this weekend, Heritage Festival was well attended. The weather forced Edmonton's largest festival to close early on 2 out of the 3 days. Getting to Horilac Park was also a long haul for some people. Organizers, though, say despite the challenges, it was a success. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
Sounds from dozens of cultures filled the air in Horilac Park this long weekend. There was a less welcome sound closer to the ground.
Big crowd, it's kind of busy. The grass was horrible.
Very wet, but it was very fun.
But it was fun, yeah.
The rain that forced the festival to close early on Saturday and Sunday is now slowing down cleanup.
It's my Jordans, bro. They're all dirty.
Volunteer groups have been asked to pack up their pavilions from the perimeter path to avoid driving heavy trucks on the soft grass, which was installed during recent renovations to Horilac Park.
We certainly left our mark, but we're very excited. It's just a beautiful setting for a festival that is meant to unite everyone.
Organizer Rob Rohatton says the early weather closures made Monday's turnout that much more important for the cultural groups that depend on the festival for fundraising. They're tallying up the totals, but he estimates 100,000 people came out on the holiday.
Monday was amazing. Yeah, it was the perfect festival day. The sun was out. It wasn't too hot.
Another challenge faced by both visitors and pavilions, getting to Horilac Park.
And I also heard some, once you get in, it's all good. But the thing is, you have to take two hours to get in.
2 of Wilma Ho's volunteers who took park and ride buses were late for their shifts. She thinks there's an access bottleneck to improve for next year. Rohatton plans to discuss possible park and ride improvements with the city. He's also confident the grass will recover.
We've got some sunny days ahead, we got some rainy days ahead, and I'm sure that will help spur some growth and rejuvenation.
And Jeremy Thompson is at Horilac Park tonight, where the festival cleanup continues. So, Jeremy, how are things coming along down there?
Well, it's still going, Matt. As you might be able to see behind me here, some people have obviously decided to move some smaller vehicles onto the grass and take a bit of a chance with the soggy soil. It looks for the most part, though, that the bigger trucks like the CUPE vans and such are staying off the ground for now. The city does expect some amount of wear and tear on a park like Horilac from a festival such as this that's so big. Heritage Fest would, though, have to pay for any damage that's sort of beyond that regular wear and tear that was deemed avoidable, which is why it's trying to keep people or vehicles anyway off the grass. Now, we talked in the story there about the difficulties of people parking and riding to the festival. Seems some folks also had some trouble parking and walking to the festival. There are a bunch of parking restrictions, or there were, in the neighborhoods around Horilac Park, like across the river as well. The city issued a number of parking tickets, 266 parking tickets over the long weekend, and they actually towed 33 vehicles as well. So perhaps some reassessment of transportation plans in order for next year as well. Matt?
All right, Jeremy Thompson live at Horilac Park tonight. Thank you. Some people are still waiting for their flights after a short strike this weekend by WestJet flight attendants. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports.
Many passengers at the WestJet counter weren't sure if they'd be taking off today.
It was a little bit of anxiety for sure because we needed to be on this flight.
The weekend was a roller coaster. We were really concerned because there was so much going on.
WestJet flight attendants walked off the job Sunday morning, forcing hundreds of flights to be canceled. The next day, the union and airline reached a deal.
It's a huge relief. We're so excited. We're so excited to be here and so excited to jump on our flight and go and enjoy our trip. We had it pre-planned for years, so we were just hoping that it wasn't canceled and WestJet did the right thing.
This couple took extra precautions for their Iceland vacation and are dealing with the fallout.
We had bought alternative flights, and so that was our contingency plan, but now we were stuck with the cost of the contingency flights. We had to call that airline and try to sort it out.
As passengers get ready for their trips to begin, some are still waiting for theirs to end.
A little upset that the only option that they gave us was one that we couldn't use.
Elaine Schultz-Shallery and her husband Timothy's flights home to Edmonton were canceled. They say WestJet offered a flight home with a layover in the U.S.
But he doesn't have a U.S. visa, so that wasn't even like a viable option for us. He legally can't board a flight to go to the States.
Timothy is a Canadian permanent resident with a St. Lucia passport. He needs a visa to enter the U.S. They say WestJet rebooked them on a different flight. This one is a week after they were supposed to leave.
If I'm not on that flight this Sunday, I don't know what we'll do. The biggest cost for us would be that my husband no longer has vacation time.
In a statement to CTV News, WestJet says flights have begun to operate. However, the impacts of the disruption continues as the airline works to restore its network. It didn't directly respond to the couple's situation. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
A man in Edmonton is facing murder charges following the death of an 18-year-old in 2020 who was given cough syrup laced with fentanyl. The 18-year-old from Chestermere died in hospital after consuming the mixture. Police say the laced cough syrup was also intended for a second person. They did not drink it, though, and were unharmed. Last year, a 25-year-old was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. In late July, police charged the man from Edmonton and a third man with the same offenses. Both men remain in custody and are scheduled to be in court later this week. Paving work is beginning on a stretch of highway in Fort McMurray a month after dozens of volunteers started patching the potholes themselves. The province says the paving project started yesterday morning. Crews will be working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Highway 63 from Beacon Hill Drive to north of Confederation Way. The 10-kilometer stretch of work is expected to take 2 weeks to complete. Last month, dozens of volunteers, as you saw in the video earlier, started fixing the road themselves because they say the province was ignoring their requests for repairs. The federal government is taking the next step toward declaring a proposed pipeline from Alberta to the West Coast as a project in the national interest. The designation allows the federal government to fast-track approvals and bypass some environmental regulations. The public has until September 18th to comment on the proposal. The pipeline is a key part of an energy deal between Ottawa and Alberta. The roughly 1,200-kilometer pipeline would move crude oil from Alberta to a port near Delta, BC for export to international markets. The city of Edmonton says summer storms have been playing a role in the spread of Dutch elm disease. It has detected 6 cases so far this year. CTV's Noah Rashog has more on what's at stake in the battle to hold off the blight.
Alberta is one of the few places that this species feels safe.
Towering above all surrounding trees, twisting its way towards the sky, is the American elm. More than 90,000 of them spread their canopies above Edmonton's urban forests. 6 of those 90,000 are infected by a blight, Dutch elm disease. While that may not sound like many, the city is taking it very seriously.
So we're working hard to detect those as soon as possible, get rid of those trees, and try to maintain that status as Dutch elm disease free.
Dutch elm disease, spread by the bark beetle, has wiped the American elm off the map in certain parts of the continent. Behind the scenes, urban forest managers across Alberta are battling to protect the elm.
So getting a handle on the banded elm bark beetle population and reducing those numbers may be a key to protecting our urban forests from Dutch elm disease.
It's a sturdy tree. It's hard to imagine how it can be killed by just beetles and germs. But like any other pandemic, Dutch elm disease has been spreading across the continent, falling trees in its wake, leaving Alberta as one of the last refuges unaffected by the disease. Let's take a look at the front lines. Arriving from Europe in the early 20th century, then spreading to every corner of the continent, except for Alberta. In Winnipeg, they've had to cull tens of thousands of trees in the last 50 years, losing nearly 3.5% of their whole population just in 2025.
In California, in Wisconsin, northeastern U.S., literally the entire species is wiped out.
The 6 cases in Edmonton are recent, following a series of storms, tearing branches and falling trees. The smell of torn branches attracts the bark beetles, like blood in the water.
If you cut some branch, I can guarantee you these trees will be attacked. Why? Produce more chemicals than the trees nearby. And that we're really helping the spread of the disease.
The city has urged people to take their tree waste to waste disposal centers to help prevent the spread of Dutch elm disease. Noah Rashog, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Energy City Cactus Rats will not play any more games at their home ballpark this season. The baseball club says league officials expressed concerns about operational lighting and the team's ability to host fans during the playoffs. The team is blaming recent rainfall for construction delays. It says the weather left them no time to complete the necessary work to have fans enter the ball diamond. The team had been playing in their under-construction stadium since June without fans allowed inside. Season ticket holders will receive credit toward 2027 Cactus Rats games. Construction on this ballpark began back in 2023. The team will play its remaining games on the road, including the playoffs. The Folk Music Festival is Edmonton's next big event. The wet ground, though, is creating extra work. The festival's producer says Gallagher Park is saturated after all the rain. Staff and volunteers have been working hard to get the grounds ready for Thursday. Terry Wickham says the festival is looking for a few more volunteers to help the setup. He says they're not in dire need of people yet, but more hands would take pressure off the current crew who have had some extra prep work to do.
It's a lot of taking care of the really damp spots where there's standing water, getting some sand in, leveling it out, making it so people can navigate the site. Yeah, it's been a lot of work. Our site crew have been heroes.
Another headache for this year's Folk Fest was the WestJet labor disruption. Wickham says so far it sounds like all the artists will be able to make it to Edmonton. And Josh, Mother Nature certainly hasn't left Edmonton. Looks like some more rain and thunderstorms on the way tonight.
Yeah, I mean, showers and thunderstorms over the weekends, more showers and thunderstorms here today and tomorrow. I think Thursday, Friday should be a little dry spell this week. Most of today was quite nice, 23 degrees outside right now. That is our daytime high. It was a little breezy at times this afternoon. Those gusts have died down. They'll come back as these showers and thunderstorms roll in from the north, though, in the next hour or so. 24 is the average daytime high, so pretty close to average for both the high and the low today. I think we'll be again in that 23 or 24 degree range tomorrow for a daytime high. No sign of any real heat. It's kind of low to mid-20s for the next little bit. Lots of thunderstorm activity across the northern half of the province. All of it still north of Edmonton. You've got some thunderstorms from Fort McMurray south towards Lac La Biche, Slave Lake, up towards Peace River and just east of Grand Prairie. And there's that line of thunderstorms north of Edmonton, kind of marching in. It looks like they're just pushing through the Morinville area right now with some heavy rain. These are not severe thunderstorms. You'll get some flashes of lightning, some rumbles of thunder. There may even be a couple neighborhoods that see some really small hail. But I think for most areas, it's just going to be some rain, some wind, and some lightning. Should all be out of here by about 9 o'clock tonight. So it's sort of 7 to 8:30-ish would be the most likely time frame for those storms to push through. 14 degrees tomorrow morning. Get a bit of sunshine tomorrow morning and then increasing cloud through tomorrow afternoon and late tomorrow night. Not the early evening hours, but kind of the overnight period. Could see some more storms roll in. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. Coming up next on CTV News, a Commonwealth comeback.
So I come out here to Elks Stadium expecting it to be empty. There's fans everywhere.
Despite losing Saturday, the Edmonton Elks accomplished something they haven't done in 3 seasons. Also just ahead.
It's just the dynamic of the type of visitor and where they're coming from is a little different.
A look at what's shaping up to be a banner year for tourism in southern Alberta.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Despite losing their second game of the season over the weekend, the Edmonton Elks posted a big victory. The team reopened the Upper Bowl and welcomed more than 31,000 fans to Commonwealth Stadium. CTV's Curtis Goodrum has more.
The Green and Gold didn't win their home game against the Rough Riders, but fans from both teams came in droves, opening the Upper Bowl to spectators for the first time since the 24 season.
They're turning the corner. Everyone wants to see it, you know?
Yeah, the boys just wanted to crush some beers tonight, so it's a good time to come.
It's good to see them win.
Honestly, I'm from Saskatchewan. Mosaic's always packed, and I come out here to Elks Stadium expecting it to be empty. There's fans everywhere. It's something I never expected from Elks fans.
We're here to watch the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football field, Cody Fajardo.
The Elks say the energy brought by the fans made the team stronger.
A shout out to all those fans. They were loud. Anytime you play the Riders, you know there's a small contingent of those guys following them around, but that adds to the atmosphere.
I hope that's the norm going forward because we need them just well represented tonight.
The team is still first in the West.
And that is up, and it is in.
Winning one game and losing another to Saskatchewan, the 2025 Grey Cup winners, gives fans and the team a lot of hope about the rest of the season.
I think it's pretty much inevitable. We got it at this point. We shouldn't be afraid anymore of the competition. I'm really faithful in our team.
I believe 2026 will be on this t-shirt. 100%.
We got a good football team, and we gave ourselves a chance.
Elks fans won't have to wait long to see their team play at home again. They take on the Toronto Argonauts August 15th at 1 o'clock. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta RCMP issued 1,100 traffic-related tickets over the long weekend. Almost half of those were for speeding. Officers pulled 90 drivers off the road for alcohol or drug impairment. They issued dozens of other tickets for distracted driving and seatbelt infractions. Mounties say there were 28 collisions on Alberta roads that resulted in injuries. 5 of them were deadly. Alberta is seeing a lot of tourists this summer. There are multiple factors at play, including the Canada Strong Pass, Canadians exploring their own country, and more international visitors. CTV's Quinn Keenan has more.
Southern Alberta appears to be on the right track for another strong tourism year. Tourism Lethbridge says it's seeing numbers consistent with last year. Whoop Up Days happening later this month is expected to be the cherry on top.
Summer gets to be very busy. As you know, Lethbridge is a hub for so many great and wonderful things that happen just in Southern Alberta alone. And so we love to see all the visitors that keep coming in time and time again, weekend after weekend, day after day, coming in to make Lethbridge a stop.
There appears to be more domestic travelers headed to Lethbridge this summer. Increased fuel costs and a drop in Canadians visiting the U.S. is keeping people close to home.
And I think people have made a lot of very conscious decisions of keeping their family close to home. exploring what's happening right in our own backyard right here in southern Alberta.
Further south, Waterton Lakes National Park is also seeing strong numbers. The park is coming off one of its busiest years ever, and this year so far seems to be in line with last year's numbers.
Of course, we don't have the data yet. If I was to say how it feels pretty similar to last year. These just the dynamic of the type of visitor and where they're coming from is a little different. We're definitely noticing that.
The return of the Canada Strong Pass has kept domestic visitation high. While there's been a dip in visitors from the United States, an increase in international tourists have helped balance things out. More international visitors typically means more money for local businesses.
When they come in, they're staying a little longer. They're obviously spending more money. They're not bringing their own food, so they're eating out all 3 meals. They want to really experience Canada, so they're really, making sure they're golfing, they're hiking, they're biking.
In 2025, Alberta recorded a record-breaking $15.2 billion in visitor spending. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Still to come tonight on CTV News, detecting delirium.
They can not recognize family members or friends. They can have trouble eating or drinking.
How AI could help solve a problem affecting 1/4 of all the Canadian adults in hospital.
Some thunderstorms rolling in from the north for this evening. Again tomorrow night. Could see some more showers and thunderstorms. Looking drier for Thursday, Friday. Forecast next.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Half a million Canadians a year will experience delirium during a hospital stay, including confusion, memory loss, and disorientation. As CTV's Pauline Chan explains, artificial intelligence could soon play a key role in preventing it.
Artificial intelligence.
Dr. Amol Verma's interest in delirium sprang from his grandmother's experiences during leg surgery.
She was suddenly disoriented. She was talking about a wedding that wasn't happening.
Dr. Fahad Razak says delirium is extremely common, affecting 20 to 30% of all Canadians hospitalized for any range of conditions.
They can not recognize family members or friends. They can have trouble eating or drinking. It is so serious that once you develop delirium, the chance of dying in hospital during that admission doubles.
And even if you recover, your chances of your brain sustaining permanent damage, requiring you to move into long-term care, for example, more than doubles. That's what prompted Unity Health to look at ways to identify high-risk candidates for delirium.
You can do it with very high precision, but it's very labor-intensive. So, for example, there's been a method that's developed that takes about 30 minutes to 2 hours per medical chart.
Not very practical, but an AI program developed by Unity Health using just 10 key factors is proving helpful. Harry Ennis's partner Bruce went through heart surgery last year.
I asked him sort of key dates, like when's your birthday, when's my birthday, and he didn't know them.
Ennis says the key is early identification of vulnerable patients.
You can reduce the chance of delirium occurring by as much as 40%.
You need to know about it before it happens, like before the surgery, so that you can monitor if it's happening. You can put in strategies to minimize it and keep the patient safe.
Things like being able to eat well, being able to stay hydrated, being able to get up and move and be physically active.
The delirium risk calculator is currently being tested in several Ontario hospitals, and it will expand to 13 hospitals in October.
Delirium is the most important cause of hospital-acquired harm for Canadians, full stop.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Josh, I'm not sure why I thought when the calendar flipped to August, we might see some drier weather, considering it was the wettest summer on record in Edmonton so far.
I don't know if you thought that was going to happen or if that was just wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
I don't think you're alone in that wishful thinking. It will eventually get drier.
Will it?
Yeah, I mean, it has to. Yeah, it can't keep up like this forever. Cloudy skies outside right now as you look through the River Valley Sky Cam. 23 degrees right now. 23 for a daytime high today. 24 in Fort McMurray. It was a little cooler and cold, like at 18. Grand Prairie got to 26 for a daytime high. So you've got this upper level low. It's going to spin about off to the northeast of us. This pattern really isn't going to change all that much. This northwesterly flow, what it's doing for today and again tomorrow night, is dragging some showers and thunderstorms through. It's all, so, I mean, on the upside, it's going to keep all the BC wildfire smoke at bay. That will not be an issue for the Edmonton area and surrounding regions over the course of the next couple of days. Storms from Fort McMurray south towards Lac La Biche. Slave Lake's getting some storms. Parts of the eastern Peace Country seeing that. And it looks like Westlock is almost done with it. You had the worst of the storms pass through. There's kind of a second wave that's just sort of grazing your area right now. These are just on the northern doorstep of Edmonton. Those storms will roll through over the course of the next hour or two and then be out of here. And so I think once you get to sort of mid to late this evening, skies will start to clear a little bit. Mainly sunny to partly cloudy to start the day tomorrow. There's a slight chance as this cloud cover increases tomorrow afternoon, mid-afternoon, you might see a spotty shower in and around the Edmonton area. Most of the rain, though, through the day tomorrow is going to stay way to the north of us. In fact, even through tomorrow night, this is 10 p.m. tomorrow night, all this shower and thunderstorm activity is still a long ways to the north. It's overnight tomorrow night into the wee hours of Thursday morning. That's the best chance for some showers and thunderstorms here in the city. Then it'll push south by early Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, should see some sun breaking through the clouds. 18 degrees right now at Fort McMurray and Cold Lake. It's 23 in Red Deer and Edmonton, and 24 degrees currently in Grand Prairie. Wind's going to be a bit of an issue here as the storms roll through in the next hour or two, and then it should die down through the evening and the overnight period tonight. 19 degrees at about 8, 9 o'clock, 14 by tomorrow morning, and then up to around 23 or 24 for a daytime high tomorrow. Again, I put that chance of a shower or thunderstorm at 10 p.m. It's probably way after that. The Mega Summer 50-50 is drawing to a close. This is your last week to get your tickets and win big. All while supporting Kaleo Collective and the Bear Children's Fund. Who doesn't love a good 50-50? Go to ctvedmonton.ca, click on the contest page, and get your tickets now. 23 tomorrow, 21 and 23 for daytime highs Thursday, Friday. More 21, 23-degree daytime highs into the weekend. And again, Saturday, Sunday could see some late-day showers and thunderstorms. You know what? More kind of low 20s all of next week. Looks like right through to the middle of August. No real heat coming our way, although those daytime highs aren't that far off of average.
All right, Josh, thank you. When we return, hundreds of homes lost in BC.
The orders and alerts over the past few days have been changing hourly.
Dozens of wildfires threatening thousands more, also just ahead.
Mexico and Canada need us. We don't need them. The deal is important for them. It's not important for us.
Canada's U.S. trade minister is in Washington as a new Trump tariff deadline looms. More than 200 homes near Vernon, BC have been destroyed by wildfires. Thousands of people in that province have been impacted by evacuation orders and alerts.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, there are 37 evacuation orders impacting approximately 8,000 people and 7,300 properties, and 37 evacuation alerts impacting approximately 7,100 people and 3,800 properties. The orders and alerts over the past few days have been changing hourly.
The BC Wildfire Service says in trouble spots like the Caribou Fire, the Kamloops Fire, and near the Fraser Canyon, weather is about to take a turn for the worst. More help is on the way, with fire crews from Mexico and Australia coming to join the fight. As the clock ticks on U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff threat, Canada's U.S. trade minister is in Washington looking to make a deal. CTV's Joy Melvin has the latest.
Canada's trade team posted this the last time around, proof of their meeting with U.S. Trade Ambassador Jameson Greer. The talk so urgent, so sensitive, the Canadian delegation put out a statement saying they're back in Washington to talk some more.
We're in a hard set of talks right now. I certainly understand why Minister LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Charette and Ambassador Wiseman are being very, very discreet and very cautious about what they say and do publicly. This administration has been mercurial. It is unpredictable at the best of times.
These talks unfolding against President Donald Trump's latest pressure tactic.
Mexico and Canada need us. We don't need them. The deal is important for them. It's not important for us.
As the clock ticks down to yet another Trump tariff, a threatened 50% aimed at Canadian goods, $20 billion in exports at risk starting August 19th. Retaliation, Washington says, for what it calls discriminatory Canadian treatment of U.S. goods. But having seen his fair share of hardball trade negotiations, former Finance Minister Ralph Goodale remains optimistic.
We're in the top 3 markets in the world for 47 of the American states. So obviously, despite the bluster, despite the arguments to the contrary on the American side, Canada is very critically important to the Americans.
Neither side, it seems, wants to blink first, and with little evidence of a breakthrough, at least the two sides are still talking. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
25 states are joining forces to sue the Trump administration over its latest round of tariffs.
My office and our coalition of attorneys general are fully committed to defending the rule of law and protecting our residents from unlawful economic harm.
Last month, the U.S. imposed new tariffs on 60 of its trading partners, including Canada, citing forced labor. The new tariffs kick in just as the clock ran out on President Trump's previous Liberation Day tariffs. The U.S. Supreme Court has struck them down as illegal. The state's lawsuit argues the Trump administration is trying to get around the Supreme Court ruling. The U.S. State Department is reportedly planning to downsize by closing 5 consulates, including one in Canada. Reuters reports the State Department will close missions in Winnipeg, Grenada, Japan, Indonesia, and Cameroon. Previous reports said the U.S. was getting ready to close as many as 30 consulates around the world. While the State Department did not confirm the closures, it says it is focused on ensuring an efficient diplomatic footprint. Thousands of migrants have returned to Morocco after a misunderstanding of immigration law led to them to rush into the Spanish territory of Ceuta. Some of the migrants are now camping on a beach because shelters are full. An estimated 60,000 people reached Ceuta across a breakwater barrier. At least 72 died during the journey. Posts on social media and migrant smugglers had convinced them the border was open. Many people also misunderstood Spain's immigration rules, thinking they could stay. Canadian officials are advising people to be cautious when traveling to Michigan due to the now deadly outbreak of cyclosporiasis in the States. 2 people who contracted the stomach illness in Michigan have died. State health officials say both deaths involved patients with significant underlying health conditions. The illness is not usually life-threatening. In Ontario, 24 cases have been reported in Windsor, Essex, well above the region's annual average of 3 cases. Public health officials have linked many of the cases with travel to Michigan. There have been cases in 45 U.S. states so far. The outbreak has been linked in part to lettuce from Mexico. The federal government is spending more than $2 billion to improve the military satellite communications in the Arctic. A Canadian firm has been tapped for the job. CTV's Michael Couture has more.
The satellite controllers at Telesat are going to have a lot more eyes in the sky thanks to a multi-billion-dollar Canadian government contract. The Ottawa-based company is expanding its number of satellites from 156 to 225, and it's all to help Canada's military in the Arctic.
This capability that we're delivering them will be used to support jet fighters, aerial drones, Navy ships, forward operating bases.
The satellites will help expand the already existing network, and there will be a spillover effect for residents of the far north, where connectivity is a huge issue.
I think it's fundamental.
Retired Major General Scott Clancy is the former Director of Operations for NORAD. He says once it's up and running, the constellation of satellites will bolster defense across the globe.
That helps the United States, it helps the continent, and it helps NATO allies counter our adversaries.
Buying Canadian is one of the goals of the government's defense industrial strategy, but it's also to maintain sovereignty over the network, something that wouldn't happen if Canada went with Starlink, which is owned by Elon Musk. Telesat's president and CEO Dan Goldberg also happens to have personal ties to Prime Minister Mark Carney. While calling this decision long overdue, Conservative defense critic James Bazan questioned if the deal was made for purposes of national security, or was it simply for well-connected Liberal insiders?
I've never had a word with the Prime Minister about this escape program, number one. Number two, this program's been out there for almost 20 years now, so this comes long before this government.
In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson from the Privy Council office would not say if the Prime Minister's conflict of interest screen applied to this case. But they did say when there is a conflict, the screen is applied rigorously. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Marineland has started the second phase of its whale relocation plan. It will see 7 more whales on the move as they head to SeaWorld's San Antonio location. The relocation comes just weeks after the shuttered tourist attraction successfully transferred 6 belugas to 2 different parks in the U.S. Marineland says the health, safety, and well-being of the whales remains its top priority throughout the journey. Coming up next on CTV News, a hidden hitchhiker.
Next thing they know, they've got a new visitor in their garage.
How a furry little fella sneaked a ride from K-Country to Calgary. Plus,
I think what you're seeing with the Conservative side of the equation right now is the team rebuilding itself.
A new poll explores the best Conservative contender to challenge Mark Carney. Here's a look at the markets for this Tuesday evening. The Canadian dollar down, trading slightly above 71 cents against the U.S. dollar. Oil down as well, around $4.50 to 75.77 U.S. a barrel. Gold saw a $62 increase. On the stock market, the TSX gained 575 points. The Dow Jones gained 907 points. According to Nanos research, there is, quote, no obvious Conservative challenger to Prime Minister Mark Carney. A poll commissioned by CTV News shows the strongest contender is former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. CTV's Rachel Aiello has a look at the data and what it could mean for Pierre Poilievre.
No prominent Canadian Conservative could defeat Prime Minister Mark Carney. That's the big takeaway from a new poll commissioned by CTV News. It asked Canadians which high-profile Tory would have the best chance if they were leading the Conservative Party. And Nanos research found that the top choice was none of them, at 33%. 16% said former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Just 15% said current Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, while 11% said Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Nick Nano said these findings contain both good and bad news for Poilievre's continued leadership.
He's not seen as a prime minister or a close challenger. That's the bad news. The good news is that it doesn't seem to be anyone in the bushes, the shadows, in the wings that people identify as a real alternative to Pierre Poilievre.
In the absence of a clear challenger, insiders say despite some infighting, no one is organizing to try and oust him.
I think what you're seeing with the Conservative side of the equation right now is the team rebuilding itself, which is why I think you're seeing Pierre have the space and the numbers to kind of have this operating room to figure out what's next.
Carney's continued popularity could also bode well for the trio of upcoming by-elections, said this former candidate.
But I do think that the Liberals have a very strong chance of securing a win in almost all, if not all, of those by-elections. I think that at this point, it doesn't look like Canadians are looking for an alternative.
Adding to this, Nanos' latest ballot tracking shows the Liberals widening the gap, with 47% support over the Conservatives' 27%. The NDP, meanwhile, are sitting at 12.7%.
I think for a lot of middle-of-the-road voters and perhaps Conservatives that are a little progressive, Mark Carney actually has a lot of appeal.
Those I spoke to today said while these numbers set the Liberals up for a smooth fall, any misstep could bring the Prime Minister's prolonged honeymoon period to an abrupt end. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Red Deer Polytechnic is collaborating with an Indigenous organization to advance agriculture and food sovereignty on Alberta First Nations. Red Deer Polytechnic and the National Circle for Indigenous Agriculture and Food have signed a memorandum of understanding. The college's president says this will strengthen their shared commitment to Indigenous agriculture, through education and research.
We're developing training programs and other education programs, working closely with Indigenous communities in Central Alberta. And I think by working through NCIF, we can actually scale that work more broadly across Alberta and even across Canada.
RDP says this is designed to be a long-term partnership. An unlikely hitchhiker caught a ride to Calgary last week and decided to make itself at home in the garage. Chris Ratzlaff shot this video of an adventurous marmot that hitched a ride on his truck from Kananaskis on July 28th. Ratzlaff thinks the marmot may have tucked itself into the skid plate under the engine of his truck. It hung around in the garage for a while, then decided to explore. Came back to the garage on August 1st. Ratzlaff called the Calgary Wildlife Rehabilitation Society. They told him situations like this are more common than people think.
They like the minerals that are in the cars. They get attracted to it, so they climb up into your engines and they're kind of sniffing around. They chew on things too, so they're not great. And then people, hop in their cars and drive home. Next thing they know, they've got a new visitor in their garage.
Gave the marmot a health check before returning it home to K-Country. When we return, lift off luggage.
Reflect on just how much has changed in those a little over 100 years.
What an Alberta astronaut plans to take with him on his next mission to the International Space Station.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
Part of a SpaceX rocket will make a crash landing on the moon tomorrow. The Falcon 9 rocket lifted off in January of last year, carrying 2 lunar landers. One soft landed on the moon, the other one failed to touch down. Now the rocket's second stage will slam into the lunar surface early tomorrow morning. Scientists estimate the collision will create a crater with a diameter of 20 to 30 meters. An astronaut from Fort Saskatchewan is preparing to visit the International Space Station next month, and he plans to take a piece of his family's history with him on his mission.
I'll be taking an old pocket watch, so over 100 years old, because I need a watch to tell time, but also because it's always been in our family. So I'm a fourth generation Ukrainian Canadian. That watch came over with the first generation when they just homesteaded the place where I grew up, and it somehow made it into my hands. But for me, it's really neat to look at that and reflect on just how much has changed in those a little over 100 years.
Josh Kutrick is one of 4 astronauts heading to the International Space Station as part of SpaceX's Crew 13 mission. The mission is set to launch in mid-September. Kutrick will serve as a specialist. When he gets back, he'll be busy as well. His wife is scheduled to give birth to their 3rd child while he's on the International Space Station.
There's the radar map. Showers and thunderstorms marching into the Edmonton area. It looks like it's rumbling pretty good there in parts of north and northeast Edmonton. That'll move through relatively quickly. And then if you look back to the northwest, up around Slave Lake, High Prairie, we may get a break. And then later this evening, another shower or thunderstorm. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon. We'll start the day with some sunny breaks, though, 23. And then the best chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow comes late tomorrow night, after midnight probably.
All right, Josh, thanks very much. That's our show for this Tuesday evening. Thanks for watching. Josh and Connor Hogg will be here tonight at 11:30.